So I want to introduce you to Phu Quoc, or as it should be known, Phu Quoc. Unfortunately, my pronunciation is not very good. So on today's episode, we visit some boat crashes, some sunbeds getting washed away, a golden urn, and a fish called Bob. Welcome to our swimming pool. We stayed at the Muang Phang Phu Quoc, or Phu Quoc, as it should be pronounced. And we stayed in a lovely room, just like this one that you're seeing. In fact, it was this one that you're seeing right now. And guess the price. Unbelievably, £17 per night. An incredible room, an incredible view over the sea, and an amazing place to stay. Bear in mind, this is not the best hotel ever, but I would definitely say you are getting what you pay for. And in this hotel, this was very enjoyable to stay. This particular hotel is in the middle of the island over on the west coast. We felt this was definitely the best place to stay on the whole island, as we'll cover off the south, the north, and the east coast later on in the episode. The only issue by staying here is it is on the worst beach. Yes, you can go swimming here, but it is not an overly nice beach. However, it's better than Bognor Regis. Now, some beautiful views of the nightlife, and you will get a lot of buses coming in, but I think this is pretty much anywhere you go on the island of Phu Quoc. Another reason why we stayed at this hotel is because, being central on the island, we hired out a moped or a scooter, as some may know them, and we travelled the island. It was easier to go one day north, one day south, one day over to the east. The scooter hire was incredibly cheap on Phu Quoc. We managed to get it for about £4 per day, which is about $5 US. And it was an okay bike. The bike worked reasonably well. It was a bit old and knackered. Central on the island, you're definitely going to find the cheapest places to eat. We were eating lobster here from anywhere from £8, which is about $10, up to probably our most expensive was about £15, which is about $19 per night. Again, prawns are roughly the same price. However, there are some big prawns, little prawns, medium prawns. You get the choice of which prawns you like, and they will roughly come to about the same value depending on weight portions that they give you. Mr. Seafood is a very well recommended restaurant in the area, and I definitely recommend trying it out. We found it harder to find things like chicken, pork, beef over here. However, there are a few barbecue places that do serve it, and when you do get a good barbecue over there, they are very nice. Obviously, the island is mostly accommodating for a lot of seafood, as it is incredibly fresh, all coming from their seas during the night's fishing that they go off and do. I think here gives a lovely peel of a prawn. It's in fact probably the most perfect peel I've ever seen of a prawn, well done. And that is an incredibly scrumptious prawn. You are not going to get one that is more scrumptious than Little Tiger. The food, again, we found it exceptional. It's so fresh. It is caught that night, brought onto shore, all put on ice, and you are watching it right there. We did try other night markets in the south and the north and in the central town. They all were slightly more expensive. The south is quite a lot more expensive, and again the north is quite a lot more expensive. Look to be paying up to double the price that you would pay if you're staying centrally or going to the night markets centrally. Night markets are selling all sorts of things, from crops to t-shirts to shorts, and obviously a lot of pearls as well. The island itself is known as Vinpearl, and there's a couple of reasons that we understand. One is due to Mr. Vin, who is a billionaire in Vietnam and owns most of Vietnam, it looks like, or feels anyway. And the other reason is because pearl production over in Phu Quoc is exceptionally common, and you will be able to buy some very cheap pearls over there, and they are lovely. Do just check their authenticity, of course. The island is very quiet. We went slightly out of season, even though the weather was brilliant. Out of our 14 days there, we had probably 2 days that were rainy. So weather was absolutely amazing, even out of season for us, but it was exceptionally quiet. The hotel was probably about a tenth full for us. You can see around here how quiet things are and just get a good view on that lovely looking lobsters and fresh fish and prawns and all sorts of seafood there. Absolutely gorgeous. We did try lots of different places for seafood, and I want to be all honest, almost all of them were as good as each other. They were incredible. They do weigh out the seafood for you, so you will pay per kilo, depending on what type of seafood you have. But always remember, you can negotiate and bargain with everyone. And if the first person does not negotiate or bargain with you, then please walk on and the next person will. They do love negotiations. One of the things that we often got every evening was free beer and free vegetables to go with our food. Here you can see one of the beaches. This was probably our favourite beach. Here is a beach from one of the islands that we visited during one of our trips. This was a lovely beach. This is one of the buildings that they had that you walk down to and obviously go snorkeling off the side. A lot of jet skis up here, and here's the main part of the island with the main beach. Again, you're going to have all the big boats pulling in here, and this is about an hour boat ride off the coast of. Here's where we stopped with our particular boat. This was John's Fishing Chairs. John seemed to be very popular on the island, and here we went for a bit of a snorkel. We did go to a few locations for snorkeling. If I'm all honest with you, the snorkeling is not quite as incredible as I would have hoped. Maybe we didn't stop at the best spots, but the fish, they are not as prevalent as one would like, obviously with overfishing, etc. going on nowadays. We did see a massive accident happen in this harbour. Unfortunately, there was a massive boat crash. As we were pulling out, we crossed the entire channel sideways. Another boat came in very fast, and all these boats come into this harbour fast. I even said it as soon as we got there, how fast the boats were coming into the harbour, and there is going to be a crash one day here, and it happened to be on the day that we were there. Luckily, it just scraped down the side of our boat, but it did smash. You can see the boat here. It did smash into the boat in front of this, causing quite some damage on it, and some damage to this boat that you'll see here. This is the one that actually hit that orange boat you'll see behind it and just caught the side of ours. They did need to send out someone to inspect ours, but it was a heavy hit and really quite loud. Quite an extraordinary thing to even see. Just glad everyone was okay, obviously, from that little adventure, but was a strange start to the day, I've got to say. When you pull out of this harbour, it does smell like fish. And we are back to the beach here with a lovely little beach lady coming down on her cycle, bringing the ice creams. And again, this is just showing you how we got to sit in the middle of the ocean on some sunbeds, which was quite incredible, I must say, and well worth doing. I will put a little map to where this place was on the island, and we thought that this was the best beach on the island. It's certainly the most private and most exclusive, that you would need a scooter to go and get here, or certainly take a taxi anyway. But it was a lovely little beach. Here we have down south, this is, I believe, what they call Sunland. Down at the south, it's like an Italian-style sort of town city that they're doing. It's a little bit odd, but it works, and they do get it. And I think Mr. Vin, who owns this area and is putting this all up, he's obviously very much into Italy, because this is happening other places around Vietnam as well. It was beautiful, but it is just desolate. There is nobody there. It's a reasonably big place, and there's probably no more than maybe 500 people, which, put it into context, you're probably seeing a couple of people every few minutes. It really is very, very sparse for people and things going on. Would I stay down in this part of the island? No, absolutely not. Would I go and visit? Yes, definitely. Why wouldn't I stay there? Because it's very expensive, for number one, and there really isn't that much going on. It just didn't feel like a homely part of the island. It felt very niche and nice and kind of beautiful and picturesque part of the island, as you can see from here. but is it somewhere that I would stay on the island? No, unfortunately not. There is a few shows and stuff that do go on down here. Would they be worth seeing? Yes, they would. Could you see them if you stayed a night down here? Yes, you could. Yes, definitely. Here we had a bowl of salad at somewhere that was fabulous, I must say, and actually did us an entire lunch for 2 people and came in at a very good price. Cost-wise, Vietnam is incredible and a beautiful destination. As you can see, all the boats parked out during the day before they go on their night fish. As you can see here, hardly anyone around anywhere. But beautiful views, and I think in years to come, this will be an incredible place, an incredible part of the world, and people will be flocking here in their absolute drone. This part of town does also get you over to the other islands on the cable car, and the cable car is very worthwhile checking out. Yeah, please do jump on that cable car. It is an exhilarating ride. It's one of the longest in the world. In fact, it is the longest 3-rope cable car in the world. As you can see here, you certainly do get up to some height. This takes you over to one of their theme parks, mainly a water park, but it does also have a couple of roller coaster rides. I presume they will be building on this over the coming years to implement this into one incredible park. In 10 years' time, this will be an incredible part of the world where hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people will be visiting every single year. You do get some beautiful views off of this cable car, and as you can see how beautiful, clear some of the waters are around. Here's one of the roller coasters, and this was the main one at the park. It didn't actually look like it was open or running because there's so few people there. It actually only runs about once every 10 to 15 minutes because they have to fill up. It really doesn't run very often, so we stood outside thinking it wasn't even working, and then all of a sudden we saw it go off and I jumped on. H is not a roller coaster person, so she did not jump on, of course, and as this one is very rickety, it wasn't something that she wanted to do at all. So sat by the side and waited for me, and it is very rickety. In fact, it's one of the ricketiest roller coasters, wooden roller coasters I have ever been on. So yes, a definite recommendation for a roller coaster if you like them and you like those wooden style ones. Here we're up at VinWorld, and we've just arrived on our motorcycle, our moped, and that is an area where they park them, and as you can see, hundreds and hundreds of them. Did we see hundreds of people in the park? No, there was quite a few, but nothing was busy. Everything was accessible within minutes of going on the ride. One of the things that we took away from it that really worked for us and we absolutely loved was their SeaWorld. And here we saw all sorts of delights of colourful fish, beautiful marine life, and it is really a definite worthwhile just for this. However, there are some wonderful roller coasters here as well, and other things to see and do. Some kid-friendly stuff, some older people stuff. Yeah, definitely a recommendation and well worth a visit. It's not that expensive. It costs us around about £19 per ticket, which is about $24 per person. And this is VinWorld, which is in the north of the island. It's about a 40-minute taxi ride or scooter ride from the centre of the island, and again, worth a visit. This place definitely had the kids loving it, all involved. Good interaction inside. There are some really big fish here. These that you see at the moment, not too sure what they're called, but they were huge. And again, kids loved looking at those massive fish. Some beautiful little marine life here. Tiny little fishes, beautiful colours, every colour of the rainbow. I must say the jellyfish were quite intriguing, loving each other at every move. They are incredible little things, however I certainly wouldn't want to meet a load of them in the sea. And as you can see, their main tank here, an incredible size tank. And here, the Wheel of Time, a huge wheel that you can see for miles over the island. of Phu Quoc. One of the other things that we ventured in to go and see was a random little place, central on the island, where they had some beautiful gardens and a lovely picturesque walk. If you've got a spare day, worth going, and a lot of things made from beautiful woods with some temples, and finally a wonderful walk up to a waterfall. But during the time that we went, there wasn't any water, but it made no difference. We went to just go and see the fall anyway, with some marvelous statues of animals all over the grounds and a beautiful golden urn to finish off our day. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.